Hi, Sin.
Hello,
Nice to see you.
nice to
So,
see you too.
today my guest is Sin Ho. She's a senior lecturer at the Department of Systems Engineering and Engineering Management at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Her research is within the development of mathematical and solution algorithms for decision problems in the areas of transportation and logistics. Before joining the Chinese University of Hong Kong, she has held a faculty position at the Aarhus University in Denmark for several years. Uh, Sin lived in many countries and she has very nice, interesting stories to tell today. So, thank you very much, Sin, for accepting the invitation. It's a pleasure to have you here. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm good. It's raining a lot here. I hope you're not listening to that.
No.
Yeah. So, where are you from?
Well, that is a very difficult difficult question to answer. So it depends on how you define the word from.
I mean, where are you born and where are your parents from? You know.
Okay. So I was born in Sweden, but my parents were actually from mainland China, and then they moved to Hong Kong at a very young age. And then they got married, and after a while, they actually went to Europe. Or more specifically, they went to Norway, and they spent a few months there, and then went to Sweden, and I was born in Sweden. So when I was around 2 or 3 months old, they actually took me, or we all moved to Norway. And then I have been living in Norway ever since. So I
Oh.
guess, yeah, so so if you talk about that, then I guess I'm not from Sweden. Even though I was born there, I wouldn't consider myself as a Swede. But I guess, in terms of nationality, what I put on, then I guess it's Norwegian, I would say.
Okay, so your
Yeah.
official nationality is Norwegian
It's
then.
Norwegian, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Mm.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have two younger siblings. I have one younger brother and one younger sister.
Oh.
And so my brother lives in Norway and my sister lives in Germany.
Nice. So you're all scattered, the three of you then.
Yeah, all around the place.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why did your dad move to Europe?
Uh,
I mean, your
I guess
your parents, not only your dad.
yeah. I guess it was, difficult to get a job in Hong Kong at that time. And he got a job offer, so he moved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's it. Hmm.
So, what did you do for a living?
He's a cook, making food, making Chinese food.
Mm.
Mm.
Right. In Norway, I suppose you are not living actually in a big city, correct?
When I was a few months old, my parents actually took me and moved to the capital of Norway,
Ah.
which is Oslo.
Oslo.
Yeah,
Oh,
and my siblings were born in Oslo.
oh.
Yeah, so after a few years, I think I was around 4 years or something, then we moved to the western part of Norway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we have stayed in that part ever since.
Okay. So, what's the name of
Yeah.
the town that you grew up?
Klepp,
Okay.
it's a very small place.
How many people were living there at
At
that
that
time?
time when we moved to that place, I think it was around 10,000 people. But now, I think it's around 20,000, maybe a little bit less than 20,000. So now, it's a very small town. It's in the countryside. You can, I remember the first time my parents took me there. There was a strange smell. There's a lot of farms over there, a lot of cows. I mean, the smell was unbearable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was even worse when you have to do your laundry and then you have to hang the clothes outside, in the garden, and then you can definitely smell it from your clothes.
Okay. Come on, the smell of
Yeah.
nature in a way, right?
Well, it was terrible. I mean, in terms of the smell, but otherwise it was a quiet place. A lot of farms, a very flat. place, no hills, nothing.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, how was life growing up there in Clap?
Um, well, nice. I mean, many people would think that it's kind of boring because you don't have so much thing to do, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess most of the kids were either doing sports or play some musical instruments. So I didn't do any sports. I was playing a piano.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so um, I attended a music school, I would say. So I got piano lessons every week. So I did that until I was I don't know, maybe 16 or 17 or so.
Oh.
Then I stopped playing for some reason.
Did you perform in some places?
Yeah, when I was attending this school, we have annual musical performances in the town hall. So some of us were playing either piano or some instruments, which was open to the public. I mean, the public means the parents, right? The parents and the siblings. They will come and listen to us playing different melodies and different pieces.
Okay. I mean, did you have any troubles in school? Because I mean, I don't know if there were other uh, students with Chinese origin and so on.
At that time, I think I was the only one. Me and my siblings were the only ones, of Chinese descent
Mm-hmm.
attending that school because it was a small place. So there weren't that many immigrants. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the only one that looked like me. I mean, black
Yeah.
hair and brown eyes.
Yeah. I
The
know.
other kids having blonde hair, blue eyes. So I mean, for me, I guess it was natural. I guess because I went to school like this. I don't think I have met any. I mean, I don't think I have met so many Chinese kids at all.
Oh.
Yeah, while I was growing up.
Mm-hmm. But did they mock you, or did they do anything unpleasant to you?
I mean, they didn't. I was teased. Always, I was teased because I look different
Mm-hmm.
from them. I remember especially there was one girl in class that's always were a little bit nasty with
Oh.
me.
Oh.
I guess I was an easy target because I was quite shy. I never talked back.
Oh.
So I guess I was an easy target. But so I remember when I was around 11 years old and we were moving to another place. Actually, we were moving to Club, right? And we were moving to Club. So at that time, I was like, okay, I have nothing to lose, So maybe I should start, talking back.
Ah.
Yeah, and I talked back, and then she stopped
Whoa.
being nasty. Because I talked back, I stood up for myself. So
Yeah.
at that time, I was like, I have nothing to lose. I was going to move anyway, so she cannot do anything with me, right? So.
Yeah, I had similar experiences, of course. And I remember I asked my parents, what should I do? And my father said, talk back, something like that. And my mom said, just ignore it. And then I was confused what to do. And my brother was not the most encouraging guy in that context because he'll take what he'll hear me complaining about what the other kids were saying, and then he'll make fun himself based on what they told against me and so on. So I had I mean, it was I didn't have a definitive recommendation from my parents, and my brother is really older than me, so he was almost like a second dad to me. So I know that it can be tricky in that sense. Yeah. So, but I mean, you stood up, and was able to overcome those things. That's the important part. You said that people may think that the place you were living could be a little bit boring. And did you feel bored after some time?
Yeah, I guess I was around 16 or 17 or so. then I would really like to, go abroad, maybe spend a semester or a year abroad just going to school. So I decided to sign up for an exchange student program in high school. And eventually I went to the United States. There was a host family living in Oak Forest, which is a suburb of Chicago. So I went there and stayed with them. Well, the house was really big, very big, and there was they have a huge garden, and then there was a lake also there, very nice. So so I stayed with them for almost an entire school year, and I was enrolled. Sorry?
Why did you pick the U.S.?
Why did I pick the U.S.? Well, first of all, I would like to improve my language skills. Well, English is I want to improve English. So at that time, I was reading a brochure about this exchange program. And there were different countries there. You have Canada, you have United States, you have Australia, you have France, right? And I was listening, I was reading about the description of the different countries, and I somehow ended up with choosing United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
First time abroad, or you have been abroad before?
I have been abroad before, but that was the first time I was away from home for such a long period of time. It was I think I was away for 10 months. Yeah.
So, what did you do there in the U.S.? You attended a high school, you were saying, right? You were in...
Yeah, we attended high school, and we have to pick courses. Our schedule was the same every day. So since I was an exchange student, there are certain courses I have to take, like American history, American literature, and consumer education, and PE, physical education, and then health. And then I didn't have many choices left. So I have to pick one course from the math department and another course from the science department. So from the science department, I ended up choosing earth science, which was a really easy course. I think that one is actually fourth freshman. But I was a senior at the time, so that was pretty easy for me. And then from the math department, I ended up choosing programming course. And not a math course, but programming course.
Okay.
So there I learned how to program in BASIC, I believe. Yeah.
Did you have computer back home in Clap?
No, I don't think I had. No, so that was pretty interesting and exciting for me, to choose a computer programming course, because I didn't have a computer.
So the first time you actually used a computer was...
I probably have used a computer at the school in Norway, but maybe just to punch a few buttons or something like that, but not to do programming.
Right.
And I remember, I was a senior, so if I want to graduate from the American high school, I need to pass the Constitution test about the American Constitution. So we were prepped in the American history class, and the test consisted of 100 questions.
Wow.
Those were multiple choice questions, true, false, and matching kind of questions. And we had an hour to do the test. And we were told if we don't pass the test, we cannot graduate. That was the message that we got. Yeah. So I think eventually I got 90 out of 100.
Yeah. So overall, the U.S. experience was pretty nice, I suppose. Did you do anything else? Did you enroll yourself in other activity?
Yeah, I for some I don't know why I chose to join the chess team. Wow. I didn't know how to play chess at that time. So the coach of the chess team, he asked another kid to teach me how to play chess. So I think it was after a month or two, then we start to compete in tournaments, competing with other schools within the same school district. So every school has to send out 8 students, right? So each one of them representing a board. Do board 1, board 2, up to board 8. So board 1 is the best. The student doing the board 1, he is the best one, and then the student doing the board 8 is the worst one.
Yeah.
That was me. Because I wasn't really into playing chess at that time. So the first time I competed, I actually lost.
Oh.
I lost the match, but the matches after that, I actually won all of them.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was really happy. I remember the first time I won, I was jumping out of the chair. So eventually, the coach, he actually noticed that. So when he at the end of the school year, there was an award ceremony, and he awarded me the award of, I believe it's called the most improved player. And he was mentioning that time when I first won the match, I was jumping out of the chair. That's why I remember.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it should have felt good, probably, right?
Yeah,
To learn
yeah.
that. Wow. So you had a very nice experience in the end. I think you were not talking that much to your parents because communication was over the phone mostly, correct?
Yeah, so we were encouraged not to, speak our native language or mother tongue that much, because we were there supposed to, learn or improve our English skills. So they told us not to, contact our parents or friends that often, because otherwise it will make us even more homesick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we should get used to living in another place. Right. So that's why I only talked to my parents like maybe once a week. During that time, maybe I think it was around 20 minutes every week or so.
So you had 20 minutes of Cantonese every week.
Yeah. And the other times were just in English. Yeah.
Right. But when you were there, like growing up in Norway, were you educated at home in Cantonese, or you just pick up what your parents were speaking?
Yeah, so my parents were talking Cantonese with all of us, but I guess I think we actually, I guess most of the Cantonese words we got it from watching TV.
Really?
Yeah, like TV dramas from Hong Kong.
Okay.
I guess that's how we picked up the vocab, and also how we picked up also the accent. Yeah, like the Hong Kong Cantonese accent.
That can be very useful. I think my mom also, when she moved here in the early 70s, I think she picked up some by Portuguese by watching the Brazilian soap operas just to... Yeah, eventually even my grandmom, she was here for a couple of years during the 70s as well. She only spoke Tamil, and but she figured out the story, and he was even telling my mom when she was coming back from work what happened. Yeah, so these TV dramas can be useful. Right. But then you eventually had to pick up a university degree, and how was the process of choosing the career?
After I went back to Norway, then I have to complete my last year in high school in Norway. And one day, the guidance counselor, he came to our classroom and told us now it's time to apply for, university study. And at that time, I didn't know what I want to study. I have no clue. And remember that time we were having our computer classes. I don't remember it was a programming class or database kind of class. But eventually, our computer teacher, he told me to choose a program that's called Business and Computer Science.
Okay.
Because that would be just a extension of my current study in high school. Because in high school I was studying, business and computer courses, something like that. So if I chose business and computer science in university, then it would just be an extension of what I have studied in high school. So eventually I chose that. as my first choice, and I put English as my second choice.
Okay.
That's it. Like the two different programs.
Yeah, entirely different programs, correct?
Yeah.
So what courses did you take while you were during, the undergrad period?
We actually have to take all the business courses that the students who study business administration need to take.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were some finance courses, there were some accounting courses, let me see, some math, some statistics, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and there were some boring courses like strategic planning and management and organization theory, and these were two courses that I did not really enjoy, I remember. But then we have to take some technical courses like programming, databases, system modeling, those kind of courses.
Yeah.
We have to take all the computer courses that computer science students have to take.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So actually, there was a course. There was a degree on computer science there as well.
Yeah, like computer engineering, I believe it's called.
Computer engineering. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you graduated, and then you decided to do masters. Why?
Yeah, why? Because, I have been. Why? I have no idea why. But I've always gone to school, so I guess, what should I do if I don't go to school? So I decided to do a master's.
Yeah, that's a very good answer, actually.
At the same university.
So to postpone more the experience.
Yeah, exactly. I still want to be a kid, right? So that's why I go to school.
Oh, yeah, but then
honestly, I didn't know. What should I do? Find a job.
But then you had to choose again the program that you had to.
But that was easy. So that was easy. I chose computer science as my master. Yeah.
Right. Is it?
Well, the thing is that after we graduate from this undergraduate program in business and computer science, we can have two choices, two options. Either we do a master's in Denmark in business related, because the university had some kind of an agreement with a Danish university at the time. So if you manage to graduate from Norway, then we can either do a master's in a Danish university, in a business-like master's, or we can do a master's in computer science at the same university. So at that time, I did not want to do a master's in Denmark.
Because you wanted to stay there in the same school.
Yeah. So that's why I continued to study at the same university.
But now you had to pick up a research topic, and sometimes that's not easy at all unless it's given by your advisor. So how was the process of choosing what to study?
So the master's program lasted 2 years, like 4 semesters, and we have to do a master thesis at the last semester. So this means that during the 3rd semester, we have to sort of figure out the topic of the thesis. And I was looking at the topics that were proposed by the professors, and none of them appealed to me.
Really?
I wasn't interested in any of those. So what I did was I went online and I did a lot of searching. To find a topic that was interesting for me. So I searched quite a lot, and I ended up with a topic on the vehicle routing problem with time windows and split deliveries.
Okay, wait a minute. That's kind of random, I suppose. Did you have any contact with OR before?
I took a course in optimization during I believe it was my the first semester of the master's program.
Okay, only the
So I
master's.
took a course in optimization, but then the professor did not talk anything about VRP.
Mm-hmm.
He did not talk about metristics.
Mm-hmm.
Not as I remember. No, he did not. So, but I found that problem to be quite interesting. But then the problem was, who can supervise me? Because the professor of the optimization course has already left for another university.
Okay.
So that was a problem.
Uh-huh.
But then, even though he left for another university, but he was still teaching a programming course at my university.
Mm-hmm.
So one day every week, he actually commute from Bergen to
Oh.
Stavanger. So, and he agreed to supervise me
Mm-hmm. Okay.
after he has done teaching during that day, right? So,
Yeah.
but then he was quite curious about how I found that topic.
Yes, I am really curious as well, because it's completely out of the box. I mean, if you're not exposed to combinatorial optimization and this type of problems, and you discover yourself on your own and decide to, okay, I'm just going to study that, it's pretty impressive. So you have, I mean, do you remember it was just only browsing or some?
I was searching quite a lot of stuff. I don't even remember what keywords I used, but I think I was probably looking into, maybe I put down master's thesis topics, whatever popped up, and I was looking.
Okay.
Maybe it was like that.
Oh.
Maybe it was like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Maybe
still.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Probably was like that. Yeah. But that was many years ago. I don't remember. But maybe it was because I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, you found a problem in a very unusual problem considering your context, and you found an advisor.
Yeah.
But then you have to find a way to solve the problem.
Yeah.
How was the process in that case?
Well, at that time, I think I was. I have to sort of like decide between simulated annealing, taboo search, and then GA.
But how did you discover meta heuristics?
I don't know. I was probably done a lot of searching, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I was reading, about these different topics, different methods. And then I realized that I did not understand genetic algorithms. I have no idea what it is. And I did not understand simulated annealing. But the only thing I understood was taboo search. So I ended up choosing that. I think it was because the paper that I read was written pretty good. I mean, it was quite easy to understand.
Okay.
I think that was the case. Yeah, it was probably a chapter that was written by Fred Glover and Manuel Laguna.
Okay. Yeah. Literally textbook. That's a very...
It was easy to understand. That's why I picked it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So you figure it out on your own how to code the neighborhood structures, neighborhood
it
operators?
took a lot of time. I have to debug until, I don't know, 2 or 3 a.m.
So fortunately you had a computer at that time at home then.
Yeah, at that time. Yeah, it's university, so yeah, I had a master's level. Yeah, so I had a computer.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean that shows that you're really independent. Was that any influence from your family, or is just something that comes naturally from you?
Because I'm the oldest, right? So I have 2 younger siblings, and I remember from my childhood, I used to look after my siblings quite a lot. So I have to babysit them, even though I wasn't that much older than them. They were. So and I like to. I don't really like to depend on other people. Yeah. So if I can do it myself, then I will do it. So asking other people for help, that would be probably my last thing to do. I mean, obviously if I cannot do it, I would ask for help, but I will certainly try to do it on my own first.
Yeah, that's a very interesting attitude, especially when you are when you intend to be a researcher or pursue, for example, a PhD degree or something, right? You should develop a certain level of independence, and
Yeah.
and I see many people struggling at times. They perform really well in the courses, they have good grades, but at times when it comes to creative thinking, if you like, and figuring out things on your own, and not that for the purpose of getting good marks, but for the purpose of trying to advance something on a particular topic, it can be harder and tricky because you didn't have that experience before, or you were maybe not even encouraged to do that. So you graduated, and you decided to continue studying.
Well, it was actually at the end of my master's program, and my supervisor asked me if I would consider applying for the PhD program, because at his department, they were looking for PhD students. So I applied, and I got an offer, and then I moved to Bergen.
Yeah, so now PhD, now it's a whole different story. I mean, you kind of had some background in OR and computer optimization, meta heuristics, VRP. But what about your advisor? Was he from that field?
No, he wasn't. he that wasn't his expertise. I knew from the start that he wasn't into. I mean, he's into combinatorial optimization in general.
Okay.
But not vehicle routing and not meta heuristics. No.
So then, again, you had to be independent and.
Yeah. So I know that I cannot depend on him. So I have to. I know I had to depend on myself, and it's also very important for me to try to get to know the best researchers in this field.
Nice.
Yeah, because our University of Bergen actually encourages the PhD student to spend a semester or two abroad, to work with the best people in the field. So that's why from the start, I was telling my supervisor that I would like to spend some time in Montreal if that was possible.
You quickly figured it out where was the place that is very famous for that. And you continue doing the work you started during the masters, or you started something entirely different when you mean at the beginning of your PhD?
No, we actually continued. For my master's thesis, I was working on the VRP with time windows and space deliveries, and I was continued to improve the algorithm because I did not think the results were that good. So I kept thinking of what if now I spend more time, try to improve the algorithm, and I was like spending so much time on it. And one day my supervisor come and knocked my office door and told me, "Hey, you should start writing a paper because otherwise don't think about graduating."
Right.
And I was like, "But the results are not good." And then he was like, "Start writing."
And then you did?
So, yeah.
You submitted where?
And then, we submitted to Computers and OR. And a few months later, we got a letter from them. And I was really, really excited to see what the decision was. And I was really happy that it wasn't rejected.
Okay.
It was the decision was a major revision. So we still have to continue to work on it.
Yeah, but you eventually got the paper published, and that was your first journal paper. Very nice.
Yeah.
And you attended conferences, I suppose, and you had to present. And when was the first time that happened?
My first presentation was not at a conference. It was at a summer course for PhD students. So I remember that was I think I have been a student for roughly 6 months or so. And then there was a summer course for, well, usually for PhD students from the Scandinavian countries like Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Yeah. And I remember like around 7 days before my presentation, my supervisor told me to present the talk for him. So he was sitting in the auditorium. Another professor was sitting there as well, and I was talking about VRP with split deliveries and time windows. And then after I was done, and I remember his comment was, "Well, your English is good, but."
There's always a but.
It was a but, yeah. And I blocked the rest of his of his comments because I was blocking out all the negative stuff, right? But then, but it was about improving. I need to improve a lot. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I was pretty nervous. I have never given a presentation before, so I could feel the knot in my stomach. So I think I did not have a proper sleep during those 7 days before my presentation.
Yeah. So you're that nervous for
I was very, very nervous. Yeah. I was really nervous. Could feel it in my stomach.
Yeah.
So remember I gave the presentation on the first day of the course. And well, Gilbert Laporte, he was one of the professors attending the course. He was one of the speakers. And he sat in the first row. I was even more nervous.
Right. I mean, you should, because I mean, first presentation ever, and then you have this legend sitting in the first row.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was nice though. He didn't give me any nasty comments or anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No, that was nice. I mean, he's always nice. He's always nice.
Yeah.
He doesn't give out nasty comments at all. So.
Never. Yeah.
That was good. Never.
No, excellent.
So, nice.
So I mean, you survived, but I mean, I think there was an incident. You told me that when you joined that summer school, that they thought that you were from a different gender.
The summer course was held at an island, and the participants and professors, they need to sleep in different cottages. So the organizers have somehow, like, they thought I was a boy and not a girl because of my name, I guess. They didn't know whether I was a male or female. So they assigned me to a cottage with another boy. So when I went to them and introduced to them, "Hey, I'm Sin," and then I can see the organizers, they were laughing so much because they realized they had made a mistake. Because they thought I was a guy, right? So, well, eventually they reassigned me to a cottage with Marielle.
Wow, that's a real good upgrade. But and then you started working with Professor Gilbert Laporte, then, correct?
Yeah. So I got to know. Got to talk to him a lot at the summer course. So we had dinners, we were chatting, and I also because at that time we were organizing a conference in Norway, and I asked him, would you like to come? And then he was like, no, he cannot. He was busy doing some other stuff. Yeah. So, but then we kept in touch. So I remember the course was, I think it was in May or June or something. And then Gilbert, he was visiting Norway that year, but just a few months later. I think his plan was to visit some people in Oslo, Trondheim, and Molde.
Molde, yeah.
And then he also visited Bergen. Because of me, I guess. So he was a traveling professor at that time, moving from place to place.
So what topic did you work?
Yeah, and then when he was visiting us in Norway, he suggested that we should work on a districting problem or designing delivery districts for the recurring problem with stochastic demands. So that was the topic that I suggested us to work on, and that's the So that was the topic that I continue to work. That I was working with him during my stay in Montreal as well.
Oh, excellent. You said that you wanted to go to Montreal, and you did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because my supervisor, he actually contacted Michel Chandreau and asked him, if it was possible for me to spend a semester or spend 6 months at CRT under his supervision. And he said yes. So I was really, really happy at that time. So finally, I can go to Montreal, working with all these very famous professors.
And how was the experience?
It was really nice. They gave me many ideas and suggestions about how to improve the algorithms, how to what kind of papers I should look at, and how to improve my writing skills. I think that's really important.
Oh.
How to present your ideas in a way that other people understand what you are writing. I remember I was sitting in the lab in Montreal, and Michel and Gilbert, they would give back I would give them drafts of the manuscript, and they would return to me, with all they use a red pen, right? So
Yeah.
you can see all the revisions they have done, on the paper. So, you learn a lot from them. Yeah. And they also tell me, how to, not just me, but us, how to review papers. Yeah, I think that's also important.
Yeah.
What to look for, how to write a proper review. That's also very important.
But with Professor Michel Chandreau, you worked on a different topic, actually, correct?
Well, yeah. So at that time, he suggested me to work on designing a path linking algorithm for solving a routing problem. So path linking was pretty new at that time, I believe. There weren't many papers around. So he gave me rough idea about what path linking is, and then he asked me to look at certain papers to get more information. And then we start from there. And
Yeah. I mean, the work you've done with both of them separately, they got published eventually, correct?
Yeah. So after a major revision with the path linking paper got published in Journal Heuristics after I believe one major revision, I think. And then same thing with the work with Gilbert. It also got published in Ijoar.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you knew Norwegian, Cantonese, English, and then you had to learn a little bit of French to survive there in Montreal?
Yeah. So before I traveled to Montreal, I took a crash course in French in Norway. A crash course, I think it was like around 20 or 25 hours or so. So I thought, like, with a crash course, then it should be fine, right? So I went to Montreal, but I realized that the accent is so different from the accent I have learned in class. So one day I was sitting in the lab, and there were two guys, I think, in the lab talking to each other in a language that I didn't understand. And I was thinking to myself, that cannot be English because I didn't understand a thing. They cannot be French either because it's not the French that I learned. And it sounds so different. I have no idea what they were talking, what language that was. And then I think a month later, I was enrolled in a French course at the University of Montreal, like a very intensive French course. I took a placement test, and they placed me in level 1. And I was like, hey, I have taken a course before. Why are you placing me in level 1? But then fine. I mean, I started taking the class, and then I understood everything the teachers said during the class. So that was very easy. Okay. So after the lunch, then the teacher pulled out me and 2 other students from the class and told us that from tomorrow on, you guys are no longer taking this class. And I was like, is it because we're too good? And then she was like, yeah, you guys are too good. So you will be placed in level 2 class. So the day after, we took the level 2 class, and that one was very, very difficult. I have to really concentrate quite a lot to understand what the teacher was saying. But then she was really nice. I mean, the teacher was really nice. I can hear that the accent was very, very different.
And then you realized...
after taking the course, went back to the lab. Then I realized the guys who were talking, they were speaking French, obviously in Quebecois accent, not the French accent that I was used to. And so I couldn't understand what they were saying. They were saying, ça marche, ça marche pas. Ça marche, it means it works. Ça marche pas, it doesn't work. So they were saying, it works, it doesn't work, it works, it doesn't work. Something like this all the time. So, yeah.
You went back to Norway after a period of 6 months. And you had to present your thesis at some point. And was it in a very special day, right?
It was on April the 1st.
So did you fool the jury?
I didn't, but then the internal member of the committee, he was thinking of fooling me, but eventually he did not do that. He told me afterwards that he was planning to say that I did not pass.
Oh, okay. That would
but he did not do that. I mean, if he did that, I would be crushed.
That's very tempting, though. But right, all went well.
So there were 2 external members in my committee. It was Professor Ole Madsen and Professor Martin Lappe.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were the opponents. That's what we call it in Norway, the opponents.
Really?
Yeah. So remember Professor Madsen, he was the first opponent, and the second opponent was Professor Lappe. So that's how it works in Norway. So there were, I mean, the defense was open to public, so everyone who was interested could come and sit and listen. And they were asking me questions, right? And I tried to answer as best as I could. I mean, looking back, I guess I could have done it better.
Yeah, we always have that impression, right?
Yeah. And then I remember after the defense, my supervisor told me that he wished Professor Lappe could have been tougher with me and not let me off that easily. I was like, what? I think she was very tough with me.
Who knows, it was an April Fool's joke, right?
I don't know. I don't think. No, not my supervisor, because he never jokes.
Oh, okay.
He never tells jokes. So.
Oh. Yeah. But now, Sin, you graduated and you had to leave the university, and I think that was a big thing for you. So what did you do?
What did I do? I was so fed up with research because during those 3 years, I have been constantly thinking about algorithms, debugging the code, how can you improve the algorithms, blah, blah, all those kind of stuff. And I was pretty much fed up.
But did you have any real difficulties, not other than debugging and constantly thinking of the same thing? I mean, insecurities and other stuff. Did that pop?
Yeah,
at some point?
In order to graduate, you have to meet certain requirements, right? You have to have certain number of papers. You have to make sure that at least one of them get published by a not too bad journal, right? And I was so worried about whether I can meet the requirements. what if my papers get rejected? Then definitely I cannot graduate.
Mm-hmm.
What if I cannot do this? What if that doesn't work? What if this? A lot of what if questions were in my head. So, even when I went to bed, I was thinking about maybe I should try another neighborhood operator. Maybe that would work. Or maybe I should think about, modifying the algorithm in another way. Would that work? A lot of those things. I was thinking a lot of those things in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I mean, at some point you should have really you got, as you said, fed up, and you definitely needed a break.
Yeah.
So what did you do? You traveled or you stayed home?
Yeah, first thing what I did was to move back home first with all this stuff, that I have, because I stayed in Bergen for 3.5 years or so, including the defense period and stuff. And a lot of stuff I need to move back to Stavanger or to Klepp. So first thing I did was to move all my stuff back to my parents' house. And then I bought a ticket to Hong Kong. So I traveled by myself. And then I bought a guidebook, a Lonely Planet guidebook. So I was exploring the city on my own.
Wow.
But the thing was that at that time, while I was in Hong Kong, I have to work on a major revision of minor revision of the paper. Because I got an email from the publisher about you need to revise the paper.
So you're not completely free.
No, so they gave me a deadline, right? So I had to do a minor revision of the paper while I was there. So that was a problem. Because I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have a computer, so I have to, borrow a computer from someone else to work on it.
Wow.
So eventually I completed the revision and I emailed back to the publisher, and it got accepted soon after that.
Was it your first time in Hong Kong?
No. I have been to the city when I was younger, but this is like the first time I was there by myself.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was there, when I was younger, I was there. But then my parents always told me, do not go anywhere on your own because it's a very dangerous city.
Oh, nice advice.
Yeah, so now, yes, but now I got my degree. I'm grown up. I have been living in many different places. I even went to New York on my own, which I never told my mother.
Okay.
By the way, I went to New York by myself. I believe New York is even more dangerous than Hong Kong is.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you survived.
Yeah, I survived. But I remember the one thing I did in New York, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That is, I went to a back alley.
Oh.
It was kind of dark at that time, around 7 or 8 or something in the evening. It was empty, just a back alley. I was like, okay, should I go or should I not? But I went anyway, so it was fine.
Yes. But you went there and you found a position, at least a postdoc position. Is that right?
It wasn't until I got back to Norway after my trip in Hong Kong. And I applied from Norway.
You applied from Norway, okay.
Yeah, because so I applied and I got it, yeah.
So you started working there? With whom, actually?
Professor Jenny Leung.
Oh, yeah, she's a...
She's very well known.
She's well known,
too.
Yeah, right.
In combinatorial optimization, yeah.
Oh. What was the topic?
So it was on manpower scheduling for airline catering. That was a real problem. So she told me that was a real problem, and then she introduced me to the problem, and then we put down some mathematical formulations, and then I developed some algorithms for solving that problem. Now, what I want to talk about is that I never met her before.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow we actually attended the same conferences
Okay.
before we met. So that was, so that's what she told me, that we attended the same conferences, but we never met
Yeah.
before I actually started working
Yeah, it happens.
with her. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You got the postdoc position there. You spent some time, but you went back to Europe after a while.
Yeah. So postdoc is just a temporary position. So yeah, so I applied for another job in Europe. That was actually with Aarhus University in Denmark. Yeah. So I actually moved to Denmark after spending almost 2 years in Hong Kong.
So, how long did you stay in Denmark?
8 years.
Wow, it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
And were you teaching in Danish, English, Norwegian?
Well, I was teaching in English most of the times because I was teaching 2 courses at the master's program in logistics and supply chain management, and that one was delivered totally in English.
Oh,
And then I was also doing some teaching at the undergraduate level, but that was also in English. But then we also have to supervise students in doing, thesis and mini projects and stuff. Then they say official language is, well, not Danish, but a Scandinavian language,
okay.
which could mean Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish. Yeah, so the students were presenting in Danish, and I would ask them questions in Norwegian. I mean, I couldn't understand every Danish word because Danes, they tend to swallow some of the sounds.
Oh.
So sometimes it makes it difficult to understand what they're saying. And also the accents are very different from the Norwegian accent. And I mean, they don't understand all the Norwegian words either. So I have to speak very slow, using only the words that are, I would say, there are some things that are called false friends.
I know.
Yeah, so the words can be written exactly the same way between the 2 languages and pronounced in the same way, but they have totally different meanings.
Exactly, I know.
Yeah, so I have to be careful not to use the false friends.
Yeah.
So I have to speak, slow, and then not a very strong accent. And sometimes I will supplement with English if they did not understand Norwegian. But I guess they prefer to speak in their mother tongue.
Yeah.
And even the master students, they somehow found out that I could speak Norwegian, and they would come to me during the breaks or after class and ask, can I talk to you in Danish? I was like, okay, but I would not reply you in Danish. I said, and then they were like, oh yeah, it's fine, that's fine. And we just reply with whatever language you want. They told me.
Yeah. So I was thinking of these similarities between words that have different meaning in Portuguese and Spanish. And we can say when the person is embaraçada, in Portuguese it means that the person is embarrassed. But in Spanish, embaraçada means that the person is pregnant. Yeah, so it can be tricky. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, because I never noticed there were false friends between the 2 languages. It wasn't until I was watching TV with subtitles. I think it was either American show or British show on TV. And then there were like Danish subtitles, right? And I could hear the word. They were saying, I think the word was smile. Right? The actor was saying smile, and then somehow the subtitles was grine, grine, right? That was the word spelled in Danish. Right? To smile. I mean, grine in Norwegian, it means to cry.
Oh.
Yeah, so it means to cry in Norwegian, but to smile in Danish.
Yeah, that is really the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't aware of that until I was, watching uh, on TV that
Mm-hmm.
time. So,
Yeah.
mm,
But you left, right? I mean, before talking about that, you did a lot of research while you were in Denmark, correct?
I try to.
But you remained pretty active.
Uh, yeah. So I think, yeah, on routing, I guess I did some research on routing, and then eventually moved on to bike repositioning
Yeah.
problems. Yeah, and and then you may ask me, how why did I choose to work on that topic, right? I
Yeah.
guess.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, I think the person who actually introduced me to bike sharing system was actually one of the master students at that time.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Because he wanted, yeah, because he was actually a Norwegian student. He wanted to he came to my office and told me about the bike sharing system in Norway. And I was like, oh yeah, you can do bike repositioning, you can develop algorithms and OL models and stuff. And he was like, no, I don't want to do programming. I don't want to do OL models, and not. He doesn't want to do things like that. So his master thesis was actually very soft and not very quantitative and technical.
Uh-huh.
But that's fine. I mean, that's fine too. But so when he was talking about the bike sharing systems, I could see what problems that we could work with. That was the bike repositioning thing, moving bikes around from station to station.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I found the problem to be very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I contact my research collaborator. Just, hey, we have a new problem, and it was like, yeah, he wants to talk to me about that too. So eventually we started working on bike repositioning.
Yeah.
Since then, yeah.
I mean, we started your work recently, and also on the dial-a-ride problem. I think you did a very nice survey on that too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So you then left. Why?
Mm.
Why did you leave Denmark?
It's because I was in a long distance relationship with someone
Oh.
in Hong Kong.
Mhm.
So, well, one of us has to move.
Yeah.
And yeah, he doesn't want to move. So well, then I move, right? So that's why I left.
Oh. Was it hard
Yeah.
to find a position in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Before I left, I didn't have any job at all because I didn't apply for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I actually found a job while I was after I have moved to Hong Kong. So well, it took some time,
Oh.
right? Because I have to go through the interview process and I have to send out the applications and CVs for review, and it took some time.
Did you take a sabbatical to see if you could find a position there, or you just quit your job for real?
I just quit. I didn't take a sabbatical. I just quit.
You're very brave. Yeah.
I mean, I think I can find a job. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but you're doing mostly teaching nowadays and some administrative work.
Yeah,
right?
I am. Yeah, some counseling, as well.
Can you tell the differences in your opinion between the students you had back in Denmark and the students you have now in Hong Kong?
In Denmark, I used to teach at a business school,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the students are from Denmark. There are some foreign students from Norway, Germany, Eastern Europe, and there are even very few ones from China and also from Canada, I believe.
Wow.
And yeah, so that program actually attracted many foreign students. But so we know that business students they're more active, and they are better in presenting, in presentations. Yeah, and they're more active. And but now I teach at an engineering faculty, and most of the students are local from Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
They are very, I mean, at the undergraduate level, there are very few ones from the mainland China
Mm-hmm.
and also from other Asian countries.
Mm.
But at the master's level and at the PhD level, most of them, I would say 98 or 99% are from mainland China.
Wow.
Well, but at our department, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And we know that engineering students, they tend to be quiet.
Yes.
They don't talk too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they're not so active as the students I've seen in Europe.
I see.
Yeah, but then I guess sometimes they are shy.
Mm-hmm.
They are insecure about their language
Mm-hmm.
skills because we teach in English here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, I guess that's maybe the main difference, I believe.
okay.
And and they're not that good in giving presentations either.
Oh.
So it's like the total opposite from what I've seen in Denmark.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nowadays, you know, because I teach in a department that is interdisciplinary.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have some technical stuff and some business stuff. So I usually ask the students to do group projects,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to give presentations. Because I'm training them up to give presentations and to be confident.
Yeah.
You know, to be confident in the presentation, in giving presentations and in speaking in front of an audience. Because I have to do that anyway after they graduate from the university.
Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted to ask, was your life made difficult, at least in terms of academic life, because you were a woman?
Well, I think I have always been treated nicely most of the times. But I recall one incident in Denmark. It was, I think I was pretty new. I think I have only been teaching there for a semester or two.
Mm.
So there was a German student who wasn't too happy with the grade that I had given her.
Mm.
And then she was, you know, after I explained to her why she got the grade she got,
Mm-hmm.
then she was not happy, obviously. She was being rude, a bit obnoxious, and yeah, maybe it's because I looked young, I was new, I didn't have much experience, and I was a female.
Oh.
Maybe it was because of that. Because if I was a male professor at O1, then I don't think she would be that rude.
But then you got it from a girl.
Yeah, a German girl. I remember that.
Oh.
Yeah, she was pretty rude. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
disappointing.
mean, I even looked younger than her at the time. I was so she must think, no, she doesn't know anything, right? She even looked younger than me, so wasn't really, yeah. And also, I undergraduate student who came to my office in Denmark, and he asked me if I have supervised students before.
Okay.
Yeah. So what does it mean? That he doesn't trust me? Then obviously, you know, I have to say I have supervised students before, but not in Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was pretty new back then, and I even looked younger than him, but I was older than him. So I don't know if it's because of gender issue or it's because of my age, but I got a few questions like that during my time in Denmark. Because I look young, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
or maybe I was,
you look
yeah.
really young. Yeah, at least in my opinion. Still to this day. Well, so Sin,
Yeah.
finally, you lived in 6 countries, if I'm not wrong. But let's skip Sweden because that was only for a couple of months or so. You met many people from different countries. You have this very international experience. You can be considered a citizen of the world in a way. And what did you learn from living in so many different countries and having so many different experiences?
I think you have to know how to accept new things, because you're living in a new place, and then you have to be adapted. You have to be integrated, and not just think that it should be like this, but then it cannot be like this because you're in a different place, in a new place. So you have to get used to the new stuff, and not be so stubborn and think. I believe there's always good things and bad things with every place. So instead of focus on the bad stuff, you just focus on the good stuff with the place. Right?
And try to stay positive and have the best experience possible.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Sin, I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being here. I hope once this crisis we're experiencing is over, that you can travel and maybe consider visiting us here in Brazil.
Yeah, sure.
It will be a pleasure. Who knows, we can even collaborate in the future. And I just wanted to thank you once again for being so kind and for sharing all these wonderful stories of yours.
Thank you for reminding me.
Great. So let's hope we meet soon. And I wish you all the best, Sin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.